I wouldn't encourage anyone to get physically involved in the situation like this, but at least don't pretend that it's not happening. It's just at least, I mean, again, what you just said, the rally and say, stop this and something. It just don't pretend that it's not happening. That's my message is, don't be a bystander. I mean, and that day I got the realization that we bystanders are powerful.
Okay, we shall begin then. How has your life changed since you tried to intervene in a deadly LRT attack?
The whole thing started in December 28, 2012, and I witnessed a deadly attack against a passenger on Edmonton LRT. Well, I tried to intervene, but was not successful. One person died, and that was a traumatic experience for me. And it's an experience that led me to think of bystander's role. I guess back in the day I did realize that bystanders can play their role, like standing there doing nothing, and they can try to help the person in a situation like that. And since I've been trying to raise awareness about that, around that piece, bystanders, because bystanders everywhere, when it comes to bullying, it's a violence, because the incident in train, that was a violent situation. That's nothing to do with bullying, but bystanders were there, and if I would say, like, in a situation like that, people would come forward and try to help. If they can't help, try to get help for that person. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely a huge change in my life after that incident. I started this campaign to not be a bystander, and I started like 4 years ago.
Well, you were able to intervene by ringing the alarm, right?
I did try that. There were a couple people in that cart. I moved them to the other side of the cart. Then I shouted at that guy to stop. He didn't stop. He looked at me. But I again shouted at the guy, and then I turned around, and there were 15 to 20 passengers in that train that day. And I actually asked for them that if I can get any help, we can grab that guy. We can try. But again, that didn't happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, perhaps people are scared to intervene, thinking that nobody will support them if they try to intervene. Is my thought.
Exactly. See, the thing is, I'm not judging anyone, and I'm not, and it's just the frustration that I felt that, I mean, this could have been my son, and so what would happen? Everybody would watch and do nothing. So, I mean, that's how I saw things. So, I mean, again, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. You spent the last 4 years as a witness testifying to this incident, and a verdict was just determined this month. What was the verdict, and how did you feel about the decision?
See, the entire situation, it was that a man's life was ruthlessly taken, leaving loving families and friends who will be impacted by 4 generations. I did wait for 3 years, 3 months, and 23 days. That's what I always remember. Every day I waited that I would go and pay due to the province, be a witness for that. And I testified in April 20th, actually, December, or actually in 2016, and the verdict was delivered. And that person found guilty of second-degree murder by the jury. And I felt that justice was served. No one deserved to have their life taken by another.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Who has inspired you in your life?
The people that motivate me would be my parents. They had a big influence in my life because I was raised in a family where we were taught that the best thing you could do with your life is you can trust people, you respect people, and you help people. So, yeah, I mean, and that incident in Adventure was a shocking experience for me. At the same time, it was very significant. And as I mentioned, that the bystander role I have seen there, and that's not right. If you see something, you say something. If you cannot help, try to get help for that person, just to not walk away from there.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, in society, we're sort of all in this together, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You have 2 children. How are they learning from your experiences?
I have twins, 6-year-old twins, and I'm trying to raise my children the way my parents raised me. This is what I believe, that children, they learn what they live. So if you live your values, your kids are likely to do as well. And I always try to encourage them to be respectful and at the same time courageous and stand up for others. Whatever is right to them, whatever is right, and that's necessary. That's not an option. You need to stand up for the right thing to do.
Right. I mean, it's a big emphasis on social justice, right?
Exactly.
What would you say to kids who are having a tough time?
Throughout my campaign, this is the message I try to spread is bullying needs to stop, and our society will not accept bullying. So we not accept bullying. We don't want to be a bystander. But my message for the kids, they are having tough times. The first thing I want to say is, please do not isolate yourself because that you are feeling alone. You are not alone. There are always someone out there who you can trust to tell your situation. Well, you can try to reach out to your parents, if not teachers, or even your school counselor, but tell someone, just to not keep that inside. So that's the message.
If someone was a bystander to an incident, what advice would you share with them? What should they do?
As I mentioned, the bystanders have the power, and they can play a key role in a situation like that. You can always take a stand. So it depends on the situation. If we are talking about school, and someone is being bullied, and I would say, if it's a school, this is how you can approach. If you're watching this, you see one of your friends or someone is being bullied, you can just go and approach the bully directly. That stop. What are you doing is not right. Again, you have to make sure that this is safe. You have to intervene safely. That's what I always tell. And sometimes, instead of focusing on the bully, you can even just tell the victim that, let's get out of here. What we are doing is you are inviting the person to live with you. I think this is a powerful way to show your support. And in some cases, you can even, it's a violent situation, all you have to do is just call 911. But you are doing something.
Right, because if they're just standing and watching in silence, they're not really protesting it, right?
Exactly. That's the message I want to spread. That when you see something like this, you have to do something. Either you walk away from there and get help. If you cannot help, get away. You walk away and get help with that person. You just ignore that. Nothing is happening. I believe that's not right.
So you seem to have your biggest emphasis seems to be on communicating. Just like when you were on the LRT, you communicated by setting off the alarm, and you talk about, you know, if someone's having a tough time being bullied, they should communicate that to somebody. So communication seems to be a key thing here.
Exactly. Well, the LRT thing is again, I mentioned that this is not a bullying. That's a total violent situation. My experience, this is what my experience was. When I turned around to the people who were sitting in the train, and I asked them exactly saying whether can someone help me to grab this guy? I need help. And that's the moment I didn't get any help. Again, I'm not blaming any passenger, but I didn't get help that day. And that was I think, the frustration. And then I started this campaign.
How has your campaign increased since then?
See, this campaign, I have started with an emotion. But today, I'm overwhelmed with the support that I received. And people are becoming more aware of this issue. And I would say bullying is everywhere. It's not at only school, in the communities. It's even also at workplace. And it's not easy for individuals to come forward and share their stories. What I'm trying to do is creating a platform, organizing rallies or candlelight vigils, supporting victims, and also trying to do this, like empower them and let them be comfortable to speak up and let them be heard. That's all I'm doing.
In 2017, oh, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Okay. In 2017, what are you hoping to achieve?
I'm taking my message across the province with a series of rallies this summer. There will be a rally in Edmonton, one will be in Calgary, one will be in Red Deer, and the last one will be in Lethbridge. So I'd like to use this campaign as a medium to spread the message to our community, school, and workplace that bullying is not acceptable. And I also want to encourage people to stand up against bullying, not just stand by. If my campaign can bring awareness to even one single person, and one single bystander speaks out against bullying, then I would be proud of that achievement, I'd say.
What has been some of your most memorable moments since you started the campaign?
One of the most memorable moments, I would say, when I started this campaign, in one of my campaigns, I saw the LRT incident, Johnny Heller, who the victim's family and friends showed up at my rally, and they all were wearing matching T-shirts in the memory of Johnny Heller. That participation of the victims of all ages has been incredibly memorable for me and motivating.
Being a bystander extends far beyond just bullying. You recently helped collecting donations after the Fort Mac disaster this month. What prompted you to do that?
See, bystanders, as I mentioned, that bystanders can play a role not only in the case of bullying and violence, it can be any aspect of life. Well, the people of Fort McMurray were going through a tough time, and it's our duty as a good neighbors, I believe, and Canadian to stand by them in their time of need. And all I did is I just tried to support. I mean, people are out there to help. Someone needs to take the initiative. That's what I did. I
You've been recognized locally and nationally for your work. What has this meant to you and your family?
It's a great honor to be recognized by Governor General of Canada, and I'm proud to see that our awareness campaign is going province-wide and gaining lots of support from Albertans.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Manwar.